The United States ambassador to the European Union says Rudy Giuliani pushed a quid pro quo with Ukraine because it was what US President Donald Trump wanted. Gordon Sondland is giving evidence at the impeachment inquiry public hearings. Mr. Sondland says he followed the president's orders to work with Mr. Trump's personal lawyer, Mr. Giuliani. He repeatedly referred to a quid pro quo in describing the Trump administration's dealings with the Ukraine.
I know that members of this committee frequently frame these complicated issues in the form of a simple question: was there a quid pro quo? As I testified previously, with regard to the requested White House call and the White House meeting, the answer is yes. Mr. Giuliani conveyed to Secretary Perry, Ambassador Volker, and others that President Trump wanted a public statement from President Zelensky committing to investigations of Burisma and the 2016 election.
Mr. Sondland also described how demands became more serious as time went on in regards to any potential Ukraine meeting at the White House. He says he had been open about Mr. Trump's demand that Ukraine commit to the investigations of Democratic rival Joe Biden, saying everyone was in the loop and it was no secret. The US president has defended his actions, reading out an excerpt of a phone call with Mr. Sondland where the ambassador asked what Mr. Trump wanted from Ukraine.
I say to the ambassador in response, I want nothing, I want nothing, I want no quid pro quo. Tell Zelensky, President Zelensky, to do the right thing. So here's my answer. I want nothing. I want nothing. I want no quid pro quo. Tell Zelensky to do the right thing. Then he says, this is the final word from the President of the United States. I want nothing. Thank you, folks. Have a good time. I'm going to bed.
Jane, interesting, striking, damning, pivotal. It was perhaps the most strident, most significant of testimony that we have heard so far in these impeachment hearings. It was what the White House had most feared, the testimony from Gordon Sondland, and I think based on what we have heard so far, they will not be happy with this. Let's not forget that this was a man who actually donated money to Donald Trump's campaign. He was a loyalist. He believed in him. He was certainly by his side in his closed-door testimony, and then this stunning flip that was delivered in front of all the cameras and congressmen and women today. And there are two central parts to it, really, that he confirms that there was a quid pro quo, that they put pressure on Ukraine to carry out this investigation into Joe Biden and the 2016 election in return for military aid. And one other thing, Sarah Jane, that goes to the heart of this, one of the Republicans' key defences is that Donald Trump wanted this investigation to root out corruption in Ukraine, that was always his motivation. Now, Gordon Sondland said that, in fact, he was told that there was no insistence that this investigation was actually carried out, but that there should be a public announcement about it. Now, Democrats will say that that proves that Donald Trump's motive was personal political gain and that it was not rooting out corruption. And what is also hugely significant is the number of people that Gordon Sondland implicated inside that room.